Welcome back to the Hal Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide.
Welcome back to the show. Philip Ittner's joining us from Lviv, Ukraine right now, and we still got 100% more Johnny Million than we normally do, which is great because he always doubles in size every time. That's all I'm saying, just intellectually. Every time we get together, it's the Hal Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide. We're at infotainmentwars.com. Like and subscribe. Give a thumbs up. Support the show. Patreon.com/Hal Sparks is a great way to support the show. And if you're on Twitch, you can subscribe on Amazon Prime and it doesn't cost you a dime. Okay, now I did all that part. Now, Philip, we were talking before you joined us about the sinking of the Moskva, which was, I think, from an embarrassment standpoint, it's clear on Russian state media that they were not happy this week. The screaming and wailing and gnashing of teeth on the RT, their version of The View, where it's just like four murderous lunatics screaming at a giant screen, whatever that show is. It's their version of Fox's The Five, where they're like, death to America, right, with whatever they're doing. That, it's basically The View. They were not having it this week, and you could see smoke coming out of their ears while they were telling this story that the ship shot itself. And they're like, it was a fire because of munitions exploding. Like, yes, Ukrainian munitions, dumb. That's how all ships that are fired upon get sunk. A torpedo exploded into the side of it, and yes, we know it was hit by a torpedo. Yeah, that idea.
Yeah, it was this weird kind of thing of them going, and I'm going to keep writing my levels here so I don't overload. But
no problem.
Tell me
You're
if
good.
I'm too loud or too
You're
soft,
fine,
folks. It was this weird thing of them being like, of course it was a fire on board and it wasn't a result of enemy fire, and yet we need to punish the Ukrainians for it.
Right? Well, that is
Disconnect.
But in a nutshell, that is effectively the entirety of Putin's argument and strategy. Ukraine's doing fine. We are punching ourselves in the crotch. Therefore, it's their fault we're not thriving. Ukraine was starting to thrive as a country. That's effectively the problem, right? NATO expansion nonsense. Lithuania and Latvia are right on Russia's border. NATO is right on Russia's doorstep. Nobody cares. Like, that's been happening. It's the same thing. But Ukraine all of a sudden was like, oh, they're flourishing and turning into a functioning democracy that looks nothing like the ruling, kleptocracy that Putin is running. So therefore, they're responsible for us setting a fire on our own deck, is the idea. And we must punish them for it. That's it. It's very weird.
Yeah. And, it is very weird. And the disconnect is, I think it speaks volumes for the difference between the two countries and how things are running. But when I originally heard about the Moscow being on fire and the fact that it had been clearly hit, there was this initial response here in Ukraine of like, good, got him,
yeah,
mm-hmm. for a lot of different reasons. One, it's a military victory. Two, it's a symbolic victory. But actually, in terms of what the Moscow is capable of, I am in Lviv. Okay.
Right.
I have been at threat from cruise missiles shot from the Moscow.
Right.
Moskva. So for me, this is kind of personal.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was saying. Like they were lying about.
Take it personally when somebody's trying to kill me.
Well, and also these are dumb. Even the firing that was coming from the Moscow these are dumb fires. They're not smart missiles. They're not some sort of laser targeted stuff. Yeah.
No, they're long range and they are targeted. But you're right. There's what we do when we do that kind of stuff is we send a group in with laser pointers and that kind of stuff, and that's why it's so precision. They don't have that capacity.
No.
They triangulate stuff. But if they shot without me telling anybody out there in the greater world who could watch this at any time and they might be speaking Russian, I am in a location within Lviv where I am close enough to a potential target that if they were off by a degree or two, I
Yes.
would be in trouble.
Wind correction would solve.
I
Like
think,
I don't know, like, because you
yeah,
know
the
this,
wind is blowing
and
the wrong way.
wind is the weather is such right now that it's an extraordinary aspect of this battle. It's one of the reasons why this giant push from the Russians is before May 9th and all that crap is actually in danger of not happening on their time scale simply for logistical reasons. But the thing about a laser guided bomb or a drone guided bomb or a satellite guided bomb versus a triangulated firing from a ship like the Moscow is that it's much closer to artillery guessing than it is to, say, the
Yeah,
laser guided bombs. And they hit, and then
exactly.
they see what they hit, and then they correct, and they lift and lower the thing. It might as well be mortar shells for all practical purposes. Gigantic ones, but effectively that. And if they are off by even a little bit, that's where you hit, in population areas and that kind of stuff. And they can be off simply because of wind correction or space. There was a video posted. I mean, I've been watching. I'm sure you've been seeing this a lot, Philip. There's a video posted of the Ukrainians are dropping mortar rounds that they have lots of from consumer drones. They're literally just rigging them all together with a little thing, fly them over stuff, and then they're just letting them go. And they actually have a targeting system that they've modified them on so that they can do this. And you can see this. There was one video of them hitting this tank. It took them 3 drops. They dropped 3 mortar shells on this. The first one hit fairly close to the back. The second one missed entirely. He corrects for the wind. You can see the drone float to the left of the thing. And when he lets go, it lands right on top of the thing. And that is a level of precision that you have to tweak being right there with that kind of dumb munition. The Moscow is one of the reasons why there are apartment blocks and maternity hospitals and places like that being hit, because they don't care. Everything is a plus. And I have a theory about Mariupol, but I want to, before we got 3 minutes before we go to break, I just want to get a quick update from where you are on sort of this, the quick and dirty affairs, and we have all next hour to talk.
Okay, I mean, just quickly, we had at least 3 air raid sirens this morning. The information that's kind of floating around town is that there were actually munitions being targeted at Lviv directly, and that they were intercepted, and that's why they didn't hit. It's not because they weren't trying to hit us; it's because they weren't capable of hitting us because of the Ukrainian defensive measures. So I hate to say this, but it's only a matter of time before this town gets hit. And I think that you're right. I have watched the same sort of stuff coming out of Russian media, and they are saying some really atrocious stuff.
Yeah.
And I am afraid to say that I think that the mentality within Russia is now the concept of all-out war. And they are going to, I hope I'm wrong, but inflict upon Ukraine just indiscriminate attacks. They're going to just hit whatever they can hit, and they're going to terrorize towns. They're going to terrorize the entire country. There is a reason why Zelensky is asking for Russia to be put on the list of state-sponsored terrorists.
Terror. Yep.
State sponsors of terror, because they are switching to a camp. Not that they haven't in the past, but that was more of a what we saw in Bucha and Irpin and all the rest of it. That is not. You can't take the stain of Moscow and Russia's command and control structure out of that equation. But it was not. It was not to the level of let's punish Ukraine. And now I see a shift in the popular culture in Russia by many different sectors of how dare you sink our flagship. This is now casus belli for us to do whatever the hell we want, and we're going to punish every single Ukrainian city. So I am sad to say, I think the retaliation for the sinking of the Moskva is going to be a lot of just indiscriminate retaliations, and we're probably in the line for that. So,
Right.
but
I have.
still, it does not diminish. It does not diminish
Nope.
Ukrainian resolve. They
And
can
it's not
they can do whatever the heck they want. I'm not going anywhere, and neither are the Ukrainian people.
right.
And
Neither
okay,
is NATO and any stuff. We got to take a break. We'll be back at the top of the hour after the news with more with Philip Bittner live from Lviv, and Johnny Million reading your questions and super chats. If you have questions you want to give Philip, go to infotainmentwars.com or to twitch.tv/HalSparks, and you can enter them in the chat, and we'll try to get to them. We'll be back right after this.